What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Culture
What
and
up?
Medicine with Tin and On. And this is going to be episode 7, going
That's
strong.
right.
Um,
7.
yeah, got a lot of things to talk about today. Uh, so, first off, we start with the Buffalo shooting. And it's crazy because I'm actually in Buffalo right now with my wife. She's currently doing school in Buffalo. And the shooting that took place was actually about 20 minutes away from like where we live. So, it's
That's crazy,
pretty
man.
crazy. And
Did you have any warning?
the funny thing is that we weren't here. I was actually supposed to be away for for the whole week, uh, to visit my family out of state. But then, literally the day we got back, we were sleeping the whole day, and we woke up to our friends texting us. Oh man, there was like a shooting, like literally 15, 20 minutes away from where we were. I was like, oh man, that's crazy. But yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about what happened?
Damn. Well, man, it's pretty fortunate, dude. Like, I was worried about you. Yeah, I woke up and I messaged you right away. I was like, like, this is some crazy news. I knew you're in Buffalo too. Did you guys get like a warning? So you only got text messages from your friend? Like, there wasn't like
Yeah,
a
no, I didn't. We didn't
wide
get like like an Amber Alert or like
emergency. Yeah,
national. I don't think it was big enough, but I did know that from what I heard is they actually closed down like all the supermarkets and other stores early the day of. So after that happened, like everything like shut down because apparently, from what I'm hearing is it was just like they were worried that it might be more than one shooter because like shooter might have been like a gang, so they were looking for like other people that might have been affiliated with him running around.
right.
Yeah, so everything closed down early. My wife didn't let me go out to the gym. Uh, they let me go to take Mochi out, walk far, just kind of stay inside the building complex.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's insane. And this is just like recently, like we just there was a recent shooting in New York already. The one subway, and now it's this.
yeah,
I'm just really sad, like just the victims,
yeah.
like just innocent people. Like just imagine, like innocent people. You're just doing your day to day thing, going grocery shopping, and then all of a sudden you just you just get shot. You get this mass shooting. Like that's just it hits me every time, like when this happens, and it happens too often till it's just ridiculous. And then to find out that it was planned, right? So they're saying that it was an 18-year-old white guy. He had this all planned. He even like live streamed the whole thing, and people knew of it about it before it happened, right?
Oh, really?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, that's what like all this thing that I briefly read about it this morning before going into work, but and then they caught the shooter, um, but like it was too late. He had already killed, I think, like 9 or 10 people, and it was all targeted against black people. It was just literally a terrorist attack. Like he was so. Um, I'm. It's just very saddening, and prayers and hearts goes out to all the families affected. It's just sad, man. Like, and we were just talking about like all this left wing and right wing stuff. Like I think 2 episodes ago, like on Twitter you have freedom of speech, but for it to extend to something like plan and actually execute, you know, your racist your racism towards and actually doing it, like, that's just crazy, man.
Yeah,
So like I understand like why people were shutting this down. Like if people are saying this stuff on Twitter, like people are gonna like the cops or what the law has to get, you know, investigate further because this stuff happens. Like just imagine how angry an 18-year-old has to be able to go. I think he wasn't even from Buffalo. Did you hear about that? He drove like 100 miles I think he's from Philadelphia or something. I don't know. Like, I need to double check.
Okay.
But like, he drove 100 miles to do like, and went to the specific spot. Like, it was all planned. Like, how angry does this person need to be? This is ridiculous, you know. So,
I think he had like a manifesto that he put out.
oh yeah, that's what the word is, manifesto. Yeah, this is so he crossed the line. You know, there's freedom of speech, and then there's just straight up terrorists.
Yeah.
Like, and he had tactical gear and everything. He was ready for war, basically.
Yeah.
And I also read that there was a security guard that was in the grocery shop, and he was able to defend. You know, he tried to shoot the shooter, but the armor that he had was was too strong and did nothing. So the
Oh wow.
security guard unfortunately died. Yeah,
Okay.
isn't that crazy? Like, uh, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, see, so like I know one thing to say is like so that's why you want to have these people putting their thoughts out on like Twitter and public spaces and forums and stuff. So then this way the CIA and FBI they do their job correctly can put them on a watch list and help
mm,
prevent future attacks or something.
yeah,
I mean, isn't that the whole job of the FBI and the CIA?
right, yeah. But
Like instead of censoring them, you
mhm,
now you flag them and you monitor them and you like Twitter you can just flag this dude. All these kind of people send their account info to CIA and FBI to keep a watch on them, like terrorist watch.
right. Wait, so that brings up a good point. I read that they knew, like, they had a bunch of people call the authorities saying that because he was a high schooler, like, they were saying that he had these plans or something, but I don't know if he was put on a watch list or something. I think we need to, you know, look into this more. Like, maybe they thought it was too concerning, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, considering that I don't know, man. We don't really know what the details went down, so
Yeah,
yeah, it could be like incompetency at the CIA, FBI, local police.
but,
And it's also hard to
mhm,
kind of, I don't know, differentiate between what's real or not. Like people would just be calling and making prank calls and stuff. People used to do that all the time. So hard to like track and authenticate if that's true or not. If that's gonna be a shooter that's planning some
mhm.
things. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of things that plays like factors in and makes it hard. I understand that. I don't know. We'll see it, but I'm whenever this happens, I'm also afraid of other people that have a similar mindset and seeing that this is something I could, they could do as well. That's that's what I'm afraid of. But I know there's people out there like, wow, that's I guess it's doable, and then he's still alive. Sure, you go to jail for life, but like at least it's possible, and then they'll just replicate it. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
So what do we do?
Yeah, I think that's what media try to like not glorify the killers and stuff too. They try not to. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
be instructed not to kind of like give out like the names and like do anything that would sensationalize them
Mm-hmm.
and kind of give them like the fame and the glory, even if it's infamous, even if it's bad, but they still get them screen time. They try not to do those things, from what I supposedly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's what the media is supposed to do.
Supposed to, yeah,
I've been instructed to do, but it's hard. Like, how do you not report something?
right. Yeah, man. So we'll follow up on the story. We'll see how our victims' families are getting, how they're coping and getting compensated. Maybe something will happen. You know, no, when I say this, nothing's gonna happen to law. No, there's no change in gun policy or anything from this.
Well,
You
I
know.
mean, New York's gun laws are pretty strict already. It's like California.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the gun laws are pretty strict already. I mean, it's not total out like banning guns, but it's still pretty strict. But I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was from like another state, so he got a
Yeah.
gun from out of state and then drove it over here. So he didn't necessarily have to get it in New York,
Yeah.
so that wouldn't have mattered.
You know, this is gonna be kind of off topic. Before we like, I read something online. It was interesting how someone mentioned how this type of stuff happened in other countries, like deployed, is like politically deployed by political parties. Um, so what I'm trying to say is like, let's say a political party is the majority in this country or whatever, right? They're the governing political party. And then there's another party that is sort of the minority, and they're obviously trying to fight over the country just to have their views, whatever, right? So the minority party will actually hire like a spy or like some terrorist, from the opposing party to do something like to do something like terrorist attack, basically, to show that, oh, the other political party is wrong. So it's sort of like that. Like there's always something that happens that will kind of shine a light on like a specific viewpoint, a political viewpoint, and then normally that's supposed to have like some changes in the government, like we talk about and stuff. But I feel like in America, when we have a mass shooting, like nothing really happens. We just we just support the family and we just help the family cope with it, but then nothing actually changes,
Yeah,
which is, I don't know how long or how many people will have to die for something to actually change and actually work. you know,
yeah,
that's just my thought. Like it's I don't know. Like for something like COVID, like we had a pandemic. We found out that this like virus is spreading really quick and it's killing people. There were changes like in an instant, maybe not like instantly, but like we actually had some changes. The lockdown, vaccines started coming out really fast. But like it seems like gun like violence and shooting is just, it doesn't change anything. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there has been changes, but I don't know. There's something that's stopping from like anything happening. You know,
and I think
do
I
you
agree with
know?
you. So back to your first point, in where like political institutions gonna plant not evidence, but like plant and try to recreate, like create events and actors
Mm-hmm.
and actresses to kind of like rouse up the sensationalists and get
Yeah,
media coverage
exactly.
for certain things. I 100% agree that that happens, and people, you don't think that's true, like you're naive. Um, so let's say, for example, you know, um, like the liberal left is going to talk about, oh yeah, white supremacy, and then they could just go out and like hire uh like white people, some white thugs, just kind of be really racist and yell insults at like a black person in public,
Exactly.
and then get on
Yeah.
camera and then record it and then send it on the news, and it's gonna go viral, and then people will be like, "Wow, yeah, look at the increase in white supremacy and racism when President Trump is in power or something." And vice versa, you can
Exactly.
do the same thing with, the right wing conservative, where they
Hmm.
can, I don't know, like talk about, like let's say the riot that happened during BLM, right? So
Hmm.
I know a lot of the riots happened, and then some conservative political party could just, hey, I'm gonna pay you guys like a group of black people hey, I'm gonna pay you guys like
Hmm.
$1,000 tonight. Just go out there and try to create as much mayhem as you can, and then you go out and break
Exactly.
windows and destroy cars and set everything on fire, even though they might want to, but they just got paid to do that. And then that whole riot, might be peaceful at first, now turn to full blown violence and just being really threatening towards the police. And then that was gonna play into the right wing conservative narratives. So yeah, man, I think they both play the games.
Yep.
And that's why you gotta be careful what
Hmm.
social like the news like shows you, and like people. I think like the majority of people doesn't trust the news, like major news network anymore, just because I think nowadays it's like all of the news networks is either on one side they already been paid and bought by political parties, like whoever gives them the most money, you know,
Hmm.
like especially Jeff Bezos, uh, CEO of Amazon, he owns the Washington Post. So they be putting out, nice pieces about Jeff Bezos and putting out hit pieces against, Elon Musk or like Bill Gates or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people don't trust the mainstream media anymore. And then to finish up what you said with, like nothing's getting changed, nothing's done.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you think? Do you think have an idea that can be done for the mass shooting? Like, if you were a president, do you think you would do something? What would you do?
I like. Don't get me wrong. I know it's like a really tough, problem, but I'm sure people in the government they've definitely talked about this. They should come up with something. But for me, in my opinion, I just feel like there either needs to be stricter gun law, or there needs to be some sort of like way to protect like yourselves from these things. Like what I mean, stricter gun laws. Like don't even let this guy have the resources to get the supplies. He had like tactical military gear. I don't know what gun he had, but it was a rifle or something, right? Stuff that you get in the military. Like at least just restrict it to the point he only can get a handgun. That's weaker. Or on the other side, like let people be able to protect themselves from this. The security guard literally just had a handgun. He didn't even have a vest. Like someone who's supposed to be able to protect people didn't even have the gear, better gear than this guy. There's just something so off about this. Uh, yeah, but obviously it's not clean cut answers like that. I know there's other things that plays a role into it, but I don't know there's a solution. But I feel like if we can solve COVID, I mean, we didn't solve COVID, but we did something to help with COVID, right? And that's like a huge problem. So why can't we do something with this? That's just,
Yeah, it's tough, man.
what do you
I mean,
think?
when you brought up both solutions from both sides of the political party, so like one side want to increase gun control, and if you can like ban guns totally, and the other side is gonna say, you know what, no, you can do that, then it's better to let people protect themselves. So like let people have access to guns so they can like just like conceal carry laws, so they can carry in the open. That way they can just protect themselves when something does happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, You know, some people's gonna want one way, some people's gonna want the other. And the problem is that in order for in order for like any of those solutions to work, you gotta totally go one way, or you gotta totally go the other way. You can't have there's no
Yeah,
compromise in the road because you can't just like ban guns in some states whilst
yeah,
you know like it doesn't work. You gotta totally have the power to ban guns. And the problem I see with that is that there's no way you're gonna be able to do that because literally in the Constitution it said you have the right to bear arms. So there's no way you're gonna be able to ban guns completely, not in the United States at least.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, and the problem
That's
with like total open carry for me is that it doesn't like you're not living in the you know Civil War, the Great British War era anymore. You're not walking around like getting mugged and robbed left and right. Like you're a civilized, first world country now. There should be no need for those kind of things anymore. And
yeah,
that's the problem I have with like totally like open carry. You just walking around with like AK and handguns like flaunting around, and there's also be all these kind of like hothead idiots who's gonna first solutions to jump to guns. You see these happen all the time at like bars and stuff. When the first thing you do is like, yeah, you want to go take that outside. Like people get into fights and punching each other in the face, being disinhibited by alcohols and drugs.
yeah.
So
So,
that's the other problem
so,
with you go full on the other side.
well, why doesn't this stuff happen like in other countries? Are they just not? Do they just not have enough guns, or like they're not getting? Maybe it's not on the news enough.
For other countries,
Like yeah, like Japan. I don't think I've heard of a mass shooting in Japan. It's
yeah.
like why?
No, I think you're right.
Like what
Like
is the
it's
difference?
because they successfully. That's what I mean by going totally the other side. It's because they successfully, like, completely taken away all guns in Japan. See, like the arguments that I hear people have is that, oh yeah, no, you can never ban all guns because the criminals will always find ways to get guns. Okay, and
Right.
that's sounds like that's in part true, but you are creating a barrier for people to not obtain a gun.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like you create like if someone really want a gun, they really need it, they have to kind of jump through more hoops to get guns. So like for me, I wouldn't be if the guns were totally outlawed and banned. I would have no idea and no ways to get guns if I wanted to, because I'm not like well versed in the underground black market. I'm probably gonna get
Yes.
scammed like going on eBay and try to buy guns and get scammed or something. So like yeah, that would totally take me out of the equation for ever shooting up anybody, you know.
Yeah.
But come on, in Japan, like it's true, like there's not a lot of gun shooting, but I'm sure they are shooting from like yakuza and stuff. I'm sure they have guns.
Right.
Vietnam triads, China triads, Vietnam. I think we have triads too in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Um, but then now the shooting is just between gang members and criminals in
But
the underworld,
gang,
so
yeah,
that's why they don't get reported.
it's very limited to
Yeah,
that group of people.
yeah. So no, I mean it's true that
But
yeah, take away our guns. That's gonna work. I believe that it's gonna work, but there's no way it's gonna happen because Americans not gonna let their gun rights taken away. There's no way you can do it.
so it's all because of that constitution, like the way that
Yeah,
we're
and
still
see,
holding on to that.
yeah, and I don't know, man. I mean, I guess have you watched Red Dawn?
But no,
Okay,
I've heard of that.
it's like
What
a
is it?
classic movie back in the day with about the Soviet, but it's like about like the Soviet invading the U.S. and then it's like a small group of like people in the neighborhood where they all
Yeah.
have like guns. They get together and they fought off the Soviets. They did like a remake of it with Chris Hemsworth, the Thor guy, and Josh Peck
Oh, was it
from
on
Drake and
Netflix?
Josh. Yeah, they did like a reboot
Okay,
of
I've
it,
seen it.
probably
I was
like
like, what is this
2010 or
movie?
something. But then instead of the Soviet, it was supposed to be China invading the U.S. But then China got mad and like, oh, you guys do that, we're not gonna let you play in China. So then Hollywood got scared. They're like, okay, we're gonna put North Korea instead. So yeah, so that reboot was North Korea invading the U.S. and then they all got guns and fought against it. So that's like the ultimate like fantasy thing with like, yeah, like I think that's every Americans who's like, yeah, no, we need to own guns. That's like the like fantasy dream. It's like if that came true, like someone invaded us, that's like the wet dream come true. You're like, oh yeah, my time to shine. Let me go to my garage shed and grab up my shotguns and assault rifles.
Is this just like a militia type of thing? Like, I don't know, man. Okay,
Yeah, but
that's enough
I totally
about.
see, I totally understand why people would get scared to give like, you don't want the government to have that much power. And like, what if the government turns, let's say like they turn to like Nazi Hitler or something, and they just start running around and like some kind of dictatorship happening. Like how would people be able to defend themselves now they have no guns to fight against the government?
Yeah,
So I also understand that fear. Like that's something I can see happening, under crazy certain circumstances. But like just because we live in like such peacetime for so long and we're not used to seeing those things doesn't mean that it cannot happen. It can easily happen.
okay, yeah,
Like it can easily
right.
happen.
I get that.
And then
But to have,
one point I want to make too is that you got like these shooters, like all these people, like you look at these mass shooters, they like the one thing they have in common is that they're not normal people. They sick. They have like mental illnesses and or like their brain just been brainwashed in like a certain way. So the percentage of these mass shooters is probably very low in the population.
would you say that? What obviously we're in the medical field. We've learned about some of these psych illnesses. Like what exactly a psych disorder are you talking about?
Well, I don't think like they necessarily have like depression or antisocial or like schizophrenia or anything like that. I just mean like their viewpoint of the world is like distorted.
Hmm.
So they like a lot of the time like they are nihilists. Okay, they believe in like human lives don't matter. There's no point in existing in this world, and it's better that humans don't exist because they're just poisoning the earth. And then you just get so entrenched in this thing where human lives don't matter. They don't think their lives matter. Now it's like everything is meaningless. There's no meaning in life. They just found no meaning to live.
Hmm. I, well, I get that, but like for this guy particularly targeting black people,
Yeah.
like that that's not really nihilism. That's
I
he's
don't know.
targeting black
I
people
haven't read his
specifically, you know.
manifesto. I haven't read his manifesto, but
But
he's definitely. I don't know. Sounds like maybe he thinks like black people are not deserving to live and something like
right,
that.
but like, so you're saying that you think maybe that has like a type of mental illness, made him act out on like his beliefs. That's what I think. It's just like there are people that will have their opinions and will say racist things and stuff, but they won't cross the line and actually harm people, like and kill them.
Yeah. So that's why
Um,
their views is
like,
just the views of the world just so distorted, and what they need is cognitive behavioral therapy.
mm, I, I agree with you, but I also don't want to fall into the trap of like normalizing this, like, oh, it was just mental illness that, you know, that drove this kid to do this mass shooting, because that's always been like the cop out answer, like, oh, he just has some type of mental illness.
Hmm.
Have you seen like the other shooters, like they would like pretend like there's like a video on YouTube of this shooter. He was also a kid, and they filmed the whole investigation. You could watch it, and then they found out that he was like pretending to be having like these psychotic disorders. Like when no one's in the room, he's just like perfectly fine, and then when they show up, like he'll like pretend to like rock back and forth, stuff that he sees in the movies, just to show that he has a mental. So I feel like I agree with you that there's something wrong with the brainwash or something, but also I don't want to fall in the trap like, oh, mental illness caused him to do this. Like it could literally just be hate, like a hate crime. Like he just hates these people.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that's why you have trained psychologists evaluate them to see if it's actually mental illness or not. And no, you're right. I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
excusing their behavior and actions. I'm just trying to say
Mhm.
that a majority of them do. There's 1% evil people in the world doing evil things,
Yeah.
and but a lot of the time, like Hitler was evil and he did evil things,
Mhm.
but people didn't see him as evil when he was doing those things. He got voted into power. He was carrying out his deeds and actions.
Right. Yeah.
So
Straight up
would I
evil.
say that he have a mental illness?
Uh, yeah. What do
Probably,
you get
yeah.
diagnosed
He probably have mental illness. I think that anyone who act outside the normal norm has some kind of mental illness. But he would just things he did was evil. Like, but people with mental illness, you can't really like that. I just feel like this sense of perception is distorted, and I'm not giving them a cop out. I think they should still be
evil. They're just
punished.
evil though.
They should still be punished for what they did and the consequence of
Oh
their action. But
no.
there's a
Yeah.
difference between being evil and being mentally ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. I think it's hard to kind of differentiate between who's evil and who's mentally ill or not. But that's why you have trained psychologists and psychiatrists doing the job.
Psychiatrist. Yeah.
Well,
No. I just want to make
but
that point
I
clear.
personally believe that a majority of the crimes that happen is not because of pure evil. Because I think the people who are pure evil, they they will disguise it and get through life very well, and they will do evil things most of the time without getting caught. For the people who do get caught again on social media, and, I mean, attention, international media and stuff is I don't. For me, it's like a lower percentage of them being pure evil, and more of that being mentally ill.
I'm gonna
That's
have to
that's my
disagree with
personal
that.
opinion.
Yeah.
What do you want to
I'm
add to
gonna
that?
have to. I'm gonna have to disagree with that, man.
So you would say that a majority of them is pure evil.
Yeah, I really think, dude, man. This of all of my rotations, I feel like my psych rotation actually taught me a lot more about like humanity, not human, like just okay. Obviously, psych is about mental illness, so like, I think I learned a lot about mental illness through my psych rotation. So a bonus to uh, Dr. Silver, okay, if he's listening to this. But anyways, I've seen mental illness, man. It is like blatantly obvious that they're mental and that their views are distorted. Like you said, of the world is distorted, and it's very very obvious. Okay, um, and they'll do crazy things,
Well,
but when you compare it to someone who has planned he's planned it. Okay, this shooter in particular, he went and got guns and bought all this gear. He did recon. He knew that like there was going to be a security guard here with a gun, so I got to buy that. He like planned ahead stuff. Like a person who has legitimate mental illness would not be able to plan this. Okay,
See,
and
he,
then it it's like a total, like he just had one goal, and it was to like wreak havoc on this race. You know, like Hitler didn't like Jewish people, so he was just gonna like he was just evil. He just wanted to kill a particular people. Same with this guy. He wanted to just kill these people. That's it, you know. But someone who's mental, they don't know what they're doing most of the time. You know, like I'm not even just saying schizophrenic people in general. It's just like other mental disorders. Like they don't really know what they're doing, to be honest. But this guy knew exactly what he was gonna do. But obviously, I'm not like a trained psychiatrist. Saw on my rotation, like there's like a huge difference, you know.
well, so I'm gonna say that first of all, your psych rotation, you're seeing one particular group of population in that region, in that hospital where you see mostly, schizophrenic type homeless patient population, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one I saw too because we were at community hospital.
yeah.
Okay, would you say that Amber Heard has mental disorder?
She probably has some borderline.
Yeah, I mean, she was diagnosed with borderline histrionic disorder, personality disorder.
Yeah,
So, would you say that Amber Heard doesn't know what she's doing or planning it out?
I would say she's like a high functioning person with a mental disorder.
Yeah. So there you go. So my point is that, like, you seeing a group of, patient with like really bad severe mental illness disorder who cannot cope with life, but there's are a spectrum of mental illnesses that, like narcissism, people who are psychotic, they can function perfectly well in life. They're actually very successful in life because they're so good at maintaining the outlook. They really extroverted and they're really good at manipulating other people. So a lot of them actually become very successful in life,
Mm-hmm.
and yet they have a mental disorder. They don't care about other people. They want to hurt other people. They want to get ahead in disregard of other people's feelings or the consequences of ruining other people's lives. And that's how they're able to get so far in life because they're willing to do anything. Doesn't matter if they like we can't do that, me and you, because we just like, oh, I can't do that to my fellow co-intern, to my fellow classmate. I can't backstab them like that. I can't ruin their life like that by spreading these rumors, lies. But these people have no qualms or hesitation to do those things. So I disagree with the fact that, if you have mental illness, to mean you cannot plan or you cannot,
Mm-hmm.
like, carry out a certain plan and actions and think ahead. So, yeah, so that's my point that I want to point out is that, no, there's a lot of people with mental illnesses who can plan out and actually
No,
very good at
I
planning out those
agree.
things.
I agree.
We're not just
Yeah,
thinking of schizophrenics.
no, I'm not. So see, that's the thing. Like I know, like the psychiatrist, he argues that he's like, if you can function, then you don't have a mental illness. Like he's very concrete on that. I know that's his philosophy. It's like you're a high functioning person. You can do what a normal person can do. Become president,
Yeah.
become the leader. He believes that that person does not have a mental illness. But then I rotated with another psychiatrist who worked at the same place. Was like that. He's like, that's bullshit. No,
I mean,
that's not true.
I applaud the
So it's
first
like,
I applaud the first psychiatrist. I like that. That's a good mentality. That's like a good thing to go into. And you want to tell your patients that. But it's
yeah,
like you gonna tell. There's a difference between like, hey, you a schizophrenic, and you're gonna function well in society if you take your medications, and you know, and then yeah, then
Yeah.
they're gonna be perfectly fine functioning in society. But that's the point of treatment and cognitive behavior therapy and taking medications to help them
Mhm.
function in society and be a part of society and participate and contribute.
Right.
But they still have a mental illness.
Yeah. It's still, I know. So, anyways, like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, no, I do agree. Okay, so
I mean, you
there's
don't
a
have to you don't
spectrum.
have to agree with me. I'm just this is just what I'm saying from your point.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's a spectrum. So, like, it goes back to the question, like, do you think Hitler had a mental disorder? You know, but I just don't want people to just like blame it on mental illness.
I understand.
Just go like it's a hate cry. Like this is evil
It's
people, man.
it's definitely a
Like,
cop out, and it's definitely like not taking responsibility and not taking accountability for your actions.
yeah, it's
But my
and
point is,
that's the
but
ongoing.
my point that I was trying to say into making that is that maybe something that we can work towards the solution is increase in, mental healthcare.
Awareness. Yeah.
So if we're able to take these troubled youth, um, like these kids, there's a lot of like teenagers with antisocial personality disorder, and those guys would be like really, they tend to be criminals. They're the ones that like 90% of them end up being incarcerated because they cannot, function in society. They cannot
Yeah.
be a part of society. But if we can if we can get them, we can help them, you know, then we know decrease the number of incarceration, help
Uh-huh.
them transition to society. So that's
No,
that's that's the
that's
point I try to make when I bring up. Oh, they most of them is gonna probably have
yeah.
mental disorder. So besides the fact that, oh yeah, let's ban all guns, or besides let's arm
Right.
everyone with
Okay.
guns like babies,
No, I totally agree with you. I
like
okay.
maybe we can look into other
We're
solutions that
yeah.
can be the root cause, and that was
No,
one of them that which could be mental
but
health.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the majority. That's the thing. Like, yeah, I know this is multifactorial, and that's why it's hard to solve. So one of the factors is mental illness. I agree, but I want to shine a light on that. It's just like the other part is just hate crime, like how like social media and the political parties and how the parents raise their kids to have a specific viewpoint. This kid might be have no mental illness, but he was just taught in the wrong way, like to be racist, basically, to
Yeah,
hate people of different color. Like, I know it for sure, man, that people are still being taught that to this day.
I see what you're
Like,
saying.
I don't know, like,
Like Peacemaker. Have you seen that show?
no, I haven't seen
The one with John
Peacemaker.
Cena.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen like the
You seen
memes
the
of it.
Suicide
Yeah,
Squad, right?
yeah, yeah. But
But
they
yeah,
made a whole
essentially
show
in
about
his
it.
show, yeah, in his show, it's straight up he's raised by like a white supremacist. His father is a white supremacist, so his
Uh,
race is like someone who's super racist and like sexist and everything.
oh wow,
Yeah, so
what the heck,
it's
really?
funny when you go into the show because like he grew up, but this is what I mean. Oh, you know what? So this is a good point towards your argument of that.
Yeah.
So he grew up being taught that way, so he thought that was totally normal thing for him to do. So he would be saying all these racist and like sexist things, and then
Hmm.
people around him would be like, "Dude, what the heck, man? You can't say that." And then he was like, "What? Like, is that not?" He didn't know that it was not okay. So then he
Yeah.
had the whole show. He kind of like learned to like develop and become less racist and less sexist because he was being brainwashed by his dad when he was younger.
Yeah.
No, so I think that's a good argument for you. It's like so he doesn't necessarily have like a mental illness.
No.
He's not pure evil. The stuff that he was
No.
doing was like racist and sexist, like and like killing people and stuff. So that was bad,
Hmm.
but it's because he was influenced by his father when he was younger.
Yeah. So that's yeah. I mean, that's this multifactorial, man. That's how you can't really solve it. But
But that's where cognitive behavioral therapy come in, because then now you change the distorted viewpoint.
yeah,
So
for sure.
everything comes down to CBT.
CBT.
That's the answer for
Oh,
your
yeah.
psych questions in Euro.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe I should become a psychiatrist.
Moving on for the Buffalo shooting. What else you got for me today?
Bro, let's see, what time is it right now? Did you hear? Oh man, I don't know what other news is there. Stock market is crashing. Are you
What
following
what's this?
stock?
What's this? I'm hearing about Elon Musk might not be going through with Twitter buying.
He's like reconsidering it because somehow there's like too many bots or something. Is that it? Like there's too many bots on Twitter. So he's like, damn it, I'm buying a shitty company right now.
Yeah.
Maybe I just make the price
I mean the fraud.
reconsider like
I
it's
mean
cheaper.
technically it's fraud because then the Twitter. Let's say the Twitter is like, oh yeah, we have 20 million users, like active user daily, but then it
Yeah,
turns out that 5 million of the user were actually not even real users. So so your daily active users only 15 million users, right?
yeah.
So
Exactly.
and now Elon Musk like, I see. So that's why he kind of consider backing out. Can he even do that?
Yep. I don't know. No, but he tweeted he's like the acquisition will still go through.
So he would still buy it even if it's a bunch of
Yeah,
bots.
yeah. I think, but but
Maybe he just buy it for like he can like renegotiate a fee now, like it's
yeah,
less.
could be renegotiate. He'll like say like I won't buy it unless I buy it. I don't know, man. I'm still following it. But anyways, Twitter went down. The stock went down a lot, so because
Okay,
of
but
that.
it's not just Twitter though. Everyone's going down,
That's true too.
so you can't
Yeah,
attribute that necessarily to Elon Musk buying it. Everything's going down.
yeah.
My whole Roth IRA is tanking, bro.
What did you invest in the Roth IRA though?
I mean,
What
I
you
just
put it?
I did 100% stock, but I'm putting in like a mutual fund, so
Oh, you did
it
mutual fund.
just buy
Okay.
a bunch of different stocks. So
You you didn't put it on GameStop.
no, I don't buy individual stocks. Not until later. I'm probably gonna buy
Okay.
like individual stocks of like like for dividends or something later in the
Yeah,
future.
Apple, Microsoft are all good buys, man. They're all good. But yeah, no, man, I've been really busy with my rotation. I really don't know what's going on in the world.
Yeah, so good. That's why we have this podcast, right?
That's why one of our goals is to learn something this week outside of medicine.
Yeah. So what you learn this week?
I'm, you gotta tell me, man.
Well,
You've been free this whole week.
outside of medicine, I don't know, bro. Okay, we can talk about the. So this is not really new, but um, have you heard of MedGrad Wishlist?
No.
Yeah, this is something that I found on Twitter, but apparently it's like a so it's for all the fourth-year medical students who are graduating, and then they will make like an Amazon like wish list, or like other wish lists from website, but usually it's Amazon, so people can just buy it send it to them, and
Mhm.
it's supposed to help. Like so, they put it on, and be like, oh, here's my wish list. You guys want to help me out, transition to residency. That'd be great. Thanks. So essentially, it's just for people to kind of like help the four-year med student transition, like maybe help with moving
Yeah.
costs, uh, relocating to a new
Hmm.
state, location, because most of the time you don't get paid until you start residency, so people have a hard time
You
finding
have no
money to
money.
get that stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? First of all, as the concept.
Concept, right? I think it's good. It's almost like a GoFundMe in my career kind of thing. Um, because it's true, man. Like, unless you went through med school, saving all your money, and then your savings and whatever you have the reserve is very, very small and minimal. So it might be hard for you to, I don't know, move closer to your residency program, have a new apartment, have get your furniture, all sorted out. Maybe you don't have a car, things like that. I can see where, you know, in cases like that, this would help. And some residency programs also have like funds for people that are moving. I was talking to,
Relocation fees.
yeah, relocation fees, which is really nice. Which is, it's there for reasons because people actually don't have the funds. Because some people, like, this is like their first job too,
Yeah.
like our friend Jazz, right? It's his first job, like, and you know, and other people maybe not have any family support or any financial support. They don't have a spouse that can help them or anything. So I think in terms of that, like, if you're really, really limited in your resources, this is a great way for other people to support you, especially if you have a big social media presence. Maybe you've been like vlogging your whole journey throughout medicine, and you have random people out there in the world that are supporting you. I think those people would definitely give to you because they know that you're going into this career, for to help other people. This is like a very rewarding career. So, like, if I was a generous donator, I would definitely help and support someone that I've been following throughout their path in their medicine career. Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help them, get situated for the first month's rent or something, and I feel good about myself. Oh, I'm helping out this new doctor. But like when it's someone who's like well off and rich, and maybe their family have paid for their medical school, and maybe they have a lot of money, and they're asking for these gifts, not so much, man. Like, yeah. So
So, so how? Well, remind me to tell you about the beef. But so how will you know who's well off and who's not?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you just gotta know the people. Like,
And second of all, like, wouldn't there be biases? And what about people who doesn't have social media or a big social account?
yeah, that's true
And
too.
and
Like,
then those people are usually be what? Not well off students,
mhm,
probably like low income, who's
yeah,
not, not as social media savvy or just don't have time to mess around with that stuff. Who's like not like everyone's walking around making vlogs like I do.
yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. I think they're getting. They probably don't even know
So
about this.
would you say
I
that?
didn't know about this.
So yeah, see, like how you, like you weren't like on the social media, you wouldn't know about it. So my point is that
No,
would that not is this not already kind of biased towards certain demographics?
yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it definitely is. It's a different. It's specifically for that crowd of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a funny thing, so Reddit have done this where they kind of start calling people out, um, on the so what you said on the well-off students. So, especially like um, white, like middle class, appears to be middle class. So like white medical students. So all the black, black medical students were saying, oh, like white medical students should be like asking for this stuff. This movement was specifically for black medical students, and so what do you think about that?
Oh, this movement was actually started.
I don't know. I don't know who actually
Oh,
started this, but
oh,
just from what I was reading, apparently it was started to help with like black medical students, like
oh,
people like what you said, people who actually needs it,
yeah,
and it's kind of got co-opted into every med student is graduating asking for MedGrad wish list now, and even like the well-off med students, or we don't know,
yeah,
like apparently supposedly well-off,
right.
and
Yeah, I
then
mean,
And then
Why is
the other
everything
med students
starting
came
out?
came back and be like, "Oh, why is it only
Oh,
black people that can, have this? Why can't poor white students have it too?"
oh
And
God.
it became like a racialized. So yeah. So what do you think?
Why does everything start out amazing? Like the intentions are great there. And why does it always get distorted to something so horrifying? I don't know what's up with this, man. No. I just feel like why can't we just all get along? Like I think I think they both have good point of view though, yeah, because like obviously when you don't feel included in something, like oh this scholarship is only for a specific group of people. Y- People do take it differently. Like, oh, why is it only a scholarship for for that group of people? Why not me? Like I'm also poor, but I'm just not black, or something like that. So I can see like it's just feelings are hurt, things like that. You take things differently, and that's what causes like turf wars and arguments and stuff. But if we were just to get along, it's like okay, we can branch this, we can take this amazing idea and branch it out to other race or other groups of people that have similar struggles, like low income, med students, low income, but not specifically blacks, you know. There are white people that are poor too, and Asian people too. So like I can see both point of view. I think it's just how people take it differently, you know. So
Well,
obviously that
how
guy
would you
took it
take it?
differently. How would I take it? I'd be like,
Do you think it should just be for black students?
what do you mean like this? Oh, the grad gift wish list thing?
Yeah.
I would think it's a good idea, and I would think like this is good for anyone that has low income. I believe I just said in the beginning, like this is good for people that actually need the resources. I didn't even think about race.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just as long as they're poor
um yeah, yeah, because then
and they
there's a
actually needs
need
it.
for yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think it should be about race at all. I think it should just.
yeah,
I think anyone should do it. Tag everyone that you want. You can make your own post you want. Rich people,
yeah,
poor people, do what you want. All that comes down to is the people who's willing to give.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See, and people who's willing to give to you, then you're gonna get money. And it's like you said, you're gonna be the one deciding who to give, and you're gonna try to decide to give people who needs it, like poor students, people who needs it more. You're not gonna try to go
Hmm.
to, but the problem is that now it's gonna turn into like an OnlyFans situation, right? Where maybe like the more pretty, I can foresee this being a problem. Like the more attractive looking one's gonna get more gifts, uh more donations, more money. The one with the higher uh reach, followers count is gonna get more money and more
Yeah.
donations. So then there's gonna come into those play those kind of factors. But
You know why? It's because they're playing on to the I don't know the terminology for it, but it's just the the clout type of thing, like you gotta be trendy, you gotta have good rapport and retention rate with the audience, like it just goes down to like human nature, maybe even, we're more drawn to the more pretty people. We're more likely to support someone who is more pretty and more lively and like things like that. We're not gonna donate to someone who's like losing all his hair because he went through freaking 4 years of depression because med school almost killed him. But At least he made it out with a good step score and he can match. And you're like, why am I donating to this guy when I could donate to this pretty girl who's like having, who's vlogged throughout her med school and looked like she was having, she had her struggles and we cried with her when she was studying for exam. But this guy, I don't even know about him, but like,
Right.
yeah, it's just chasing that. It's like the whole social media thing. Yeah, it definitely can taint this to that.
Yeah,
And
I think it's gonna create
ah,
more inequalities.
oh gosh,
It's like what I told you last week, man. The Pareto's principle, right? 80-20 rule. 20% of those influencers gonna get 80% of the donations.
ah, wow, yeah, you're right.
The top 20%, and also you know encourage the rise of another Risa Hoshino.
What? The
Remember that?
Hoshi,
Remember
what?
that med doctor that I told you about 2 weeks ago? Risa Hoshino,
Oh,
the pediatrician
wait.
that pretended
Oh,
like
the pediatrician. Yeah.
yeah. So now you're just gonna have a
Oh,
rise in those kind of people where they because they're gonna do that to get more clout, try to get more followers, try to live a fake life, tweet about mainstream things to get likes and followers.
oh boy.
But yeah, MedGrad wish list.
Ah, we should make one
You
though.
know a
Huh?
cringy thing that I saw? It was an Instagram. I think this one a student at SU too. I literally saw an Instagram ad that linked to his GoFundMe to help pay for his residency like expense like moving and relocations and stuff. So
This Instagram.
you paying for Instagram ad to ask for people to donate to your GoFundMe.
Oh dang. Whoa.
That doesn't make sense to me. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So you just look at it. I look at it as like a business now. Once you start buying advertisement, you're a business. So you are literally advertising your business, your career, his residency is his business now, you know? And he's buying these ads to advertise his business so that people can support him,
But it's linking to a
right?
GoFundMe asking for money.
Yeah,
Why you don't have money and you need GoFundMe? Why are you paying for Instagram ads?
because it's a business model. That's what I'm saying. Like,
So you pay $5 to make $10. That's what you're saying.
yeah, yeah. So it's like someone who's opening a business. They don't have money. They're like taking out loans, a business loan, right? And in that business loan, you're gonna divide some of that portion to advertise and market your stuff. So that's what it's becoming. Yeah, it's just becoming like a business. And once he buys advertisement, which is then shows you what type of person he is, you know? That's what I mean. So like versus someone who's just like just flat out there, like he doesn't buy any ads. He's just like, dude, like I really have no money. Like this is my bank account. Like I literally took out loans throughout my medical school and I'm in debt and I had to use all of my money to apply to more programs, all this stuff. Like I literally have no money. And he's just gonna have this GoFundMe link there. But then this other guy who has a more business model, he's like, dude, I know, I know how Instagram works. People get brainwashed in ads. I have a beautiful Instagram account. I might look good or whatever, and this ad will make me look good. I will make more money on my GoFundMe than this other guy, you know? So it's investing. He's investing in advertisement. And this is another question. This is off topic, probably. Like, to this day, I always feel like, why do people spend so much money on ads? Like Super Bowl commercials, they pay millions, right, just to have like a small clip. during their Super Bowl, and I'm like, does that really pay them off? Like, does that, like, in the end, are they actually making more revenue? Like, are they making more revenue because of that investment? To this day, I still feel like it's a waste of money, you know? But
But
obviously, people are doing it because it works.
yeah, that's
Okay,
why they keep paying for this outrageous money.
exactly, because the advertisement works, and I don't. It's like psychology. It's psychology again. Like, how does a human get tricked into advertisement? You know, well, you probably been tricked too. Why do you wear Gymshark? You've probably been advertised.
Yeah, no, straight up. That's
Yeah,
how I bought Gymshark in the first place. It's it's an
yeah.
Instagram post.
See, how did you know about it? Oh, because Gymshark probably
Fitness
bought
influencers.
sponsors. Yes,
Yes.
and they probably sponsored the. See, so advertising works. So that guy who bought an ad for his GoFundMe,
Yeah.
smart.
So smart. You think that was smart? Would you donate to him?
Well, someone who is also smart would know this. I'm like, no.
I
The
think I
other
think I
people
think you
who,
should donate him to him out of sheer respect for his business creative mindset.
yeah,
You're
I
like,
see
dude, I
what you're
respect
doing.
that hustle. I'm gonna donate you to your GoFundMe.
Yeah,
No, I say that, man. Like,
yeah.
I brought it up, but I honestly, I mean, it's icky to me. I would never do it, but I understand. Like, for instance, like nonprofit organization, like GSMEM, right?
Hmm,
We've been in it. We've been
good point.
on the committee, planning committee, and I'm like, yeah, maybe like every year, like at certain times throughout the year, we should advertise our page to try and get more followings, to try and get more exposures, to try and get more applicants, uh, get the words out there about the organization and what we do. Because I think it would be helpful. But then like the other side is like, you spending money that people donated to run those ads. So I always have a hard time like reconciling that, and because I'm like, every cent should go towards the patients and what we do. But then you got to think in terms of, if we pay for the ads, we can do a lot more and get a lot more money to go help towards the patients. So that's a tough thing that I kind of struggle with, like ethically. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So I can see
No,
why
see that,
it's an
man.
icky
That's
thing to do. But yeah, whenever I see like a app from like a nonprofit organization, I'm always like I always feel really icky about it. I'm like, dude, like I already don't like this organization. But now as I get older and I'm kind of like been in the field more, I
yeah. You
understand why they
understand.
do it, and it makes
You
sense.
understand the need. Yeah. See that it's it's almost like a game. You know, life is always like just like a game to me because I guess I grew up playing video games. But it's like if you don't play the game, other if you don't play it right, other people who are playing the same game of life or whatever are going to outperform you. You know, so like other nonprofit organizations that are investing money in advertisement are getting more exposure, are getting more people to know their mission, right? Versus you're fighting it ethically. You're like, oh no, I should save my $1,000 that are gonna go that I could pay advertisement to like actual mission operation stuff, right? But look, boom, no one's gonna know what your mission operation is because you don't have an advertisement to even advertise your mission operation. But this person over here, this nonprofit over here, has been putting money in advertisement. There are people that know their mission and now are even pouring more money into the organization now. Like they played that game right, you know? So like, yeah, it's tough. But I think like at the end of the day, doing what is most optimal for your nonprofit organization to complete its mission, which is like patient care, you know, in Vietnam, you know, and stuff like that. At the end of the day, what you did was for them, right? But if you pocket some of that, okay, that's already. no question that you really messed up ethically. But if you put 100% of the earnings that you made from ads back into the patient's care and your mission, then I think that's fine,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh, so that's what I was saying. And I'm sure a lot of people like
yeah.
think like me too. So like, so if you do an ad, then other people will be like, oh my gosh, get the organization. Like, look how icky they are. They're like spending money on ads and stuff. So who knows?
Which is fine. That's a good. It's good to know that. Yeah, some people won't donate because they're like, they're advertising. No, but there will. You're gonna reach out further to other people that will never have known who your mission is at all
Yeah.
because you have no ads. See, so there's like the pros and cons. So yeah.
Yeah. So you should
I don't know.
bring it up at the next GSMDM meeting and be like, hey, we should start doing ads. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man. I mean, well, I know to support that you gotta like have some data. Like, oh, this other nonprofit's doing really well because they advertise really well. Look at all their new like. I don't know how I'm gonna get the data. Like, look at all these new student volunteers. Like, their application volume is like 10 times as high as ours.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, they only put $50 into like some Instagram ad. What? Like, we could totally do that. Like, come on. Like, the only difference they have is this ad and this video that they made. We could make videos. If I could find that data, I'd just show it to like the board members that they're like, wow, really? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man.
Oh, okay. You know
Yeah.
what? Big news that happened this week. I totally forgot. You know who Kevin
But
Samuel is?
no.
Ah, okay. You don't care as much, but yeah, Kevin Samuel died.
What? What do you mean? I don't care as much. I
Well,
don't care.
he passed away this week.
Who's who's? Am I gonna get a lot of hate from
No, you
not
don't get.
knowing who this
I'm gonna
is?
get a lot of hate because I like him, but he's like the OG. Kind of like he's like the father of like kind of like the red pill movement. You know what red pill is?
Is this the Matrix, the red pill and the blue pill?
Kind of. That's where it originated. But
Oh, I love the Matrix. Yes, talk about the Matrix.
yeah, but he's kind of like the OG father of like the red pill movement. He's kind of like he's known for kind of like telling women what they don't want to hear. So his
Oh Lord.
premise is that for his live stream show, so he works as like a professional like image consultant.
A what consultant?
Image consultant.
Image?
Image consultant. So he will work with
What
you
is it?
to improve your image.
Oh,
Yeah,
your own person.
like
Image. Okay,
professional.
okay.
Yeah, but like women would come to his live stream, and then they would like be like, can you ask questions about them, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I wanna like learn how to like get a man, kind of like a dating coach kind of guy. Um, and he would straight up tell them like, oh, like you're a 5 and you're trying to get a 10 guy. That's not gonna happen. So he would give him like the reality. Like he's known for
Okay,
this stuff.
okay.
So he went famous, but just straight up be like, man, you're you're fat, and and you
Oh,
want you're not gonna be able to get
that's
like a guy who makes 6 figures. Like you need to temper you. So he's known. He's like hailed as kind of bringing women back to like reality.
wow.
Yeah. So, but
What?
that's why he gets a lot of hate from. Well, he's been called like, oh, he's racist towards black women, because the majority of his clients are black women. Because he works a lot. He's black, so he's like works with like the black community. He said that he want to help the black community a lot of the time, and he works with guys too, but mainly with women because. And I agree with him in this part because he believes that like the modern day woman has been kind of brainwashed and kind of we're gonna get canceled for the show, man. But but
No, not with me here. I'm gonna.
has been kind of brainwashed and kind of like the feminist movement has went too far, and now women's expectations for men is way too high than what they're getting. That's why a lot of women are now ending up single, no kids, well into their 30s and well into their 40s. Yeah. So his show premise is pretty much a woman calling in, and he'll like he'll ask some questions, and they will describe it to him, like what their like living situation is like,
Hold on.
and then he'll tell them what their chances are, like what they can do to improve themselves.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot, man.
Yeah. But yeah, there's
Dude,
like a whole
so
there's like a whole world of this.
wait, so let me just get this straight. So you actually like believe that because women, the feminist movement, right, supporting like just strong, independent women, that is that is causing them to like have such high expectations that they are like struggling to find a guy that they'd be okay. But
So so the feminist movement, yeah, like strong independent women, and another problem is that women don't like to hear about self improvement compared to guys. So
okay,
for men, it's usually, oh, grind, hustle, like you're not as good as you're gonna be. Like you can always get better, and you can always try to be better. But for women, usually the advices are, oh, you're perfect as you are. Like keep doing what you do. Love yourself. Be who you are. So there's a discrepancy between like what women are hearing. And study has found that 90% of women's self-help books contains 10% of actual like steps and like actual like self-help like improvement steps, while 90% the other 90% of the books are usually affirmative. It's called affirmation, where you affirm yourself and be like, you perfect the way you are, you good, don't let anyone bring you down, you a queen, keep slaying. Versus guys self-help books where it's actually like 90% of the time is like actual steps, like hey, you suck, like go clean your room, get better. So they found discrepancy with like those books, and I think it's true.
interesting.
But again, I haven't read any I haven't read any like female self-help books, so I don't know.
Whoa. Here, I just gotta ask you more questions though. So, what is the? I guess you're. So you think that when we tell the women the truth, just like how guys get the truth, that they'll just be as successful as guys are at at getting their mate,
Wait, say that
right?
again.
Like, because the whole premise that Kevin guy, right, says that if as long as the woman knows like the truth, such just like the guy that knows the truth, like what type of girl he can get, right? He's like a five, he can only get a five. Then she can find a guy, right? Just as,
Right.
because that's what
So
he tells them.
like he tells them kind of like their reality, like their situation. For instance, like there'll be girls calling in where they are, let's say, a single mother, you know, um, they're like 30, 32, so
Mhm.
a little bit older, they've been divorced before, and they might not be in great shape, they like decent looking, and they want to get guys who are making six figures, like successful, um, looks good,
Mhm.
be really tall, like be tall,
Right.
like 6 feet. Like this is the common theme. Is like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
girls want like tall guy who's like 6 feet or taller, and
Uh,
he will tell them, yeah, that's not gonna happen for you because those guys are like the
But
top. Those
let
guys are like,
me ask you.
dude, you're 6 feet tall. You're the top 10% of guys.
Let me ask you this though: isn't the guys' standards the same? They want a girl that is like beautiful, that has like a nice Coke bottle body, like we have just as high standards, and we aren't necessarily always gonna be the top 10 whatever guys either, right? That's what that's what I'm confused about. Like I feel like guys just have high standards as well
So,
until they're finally like stricken with the truth. Like, dude, you can't get a girl that's a 10. You know, you gotta. I feel like that's you could say the same for guys, not?
well, first of all, guys and girls do not want the same thing in a mate.
Huh?
So in general, guys, uh, like number one things for guys can be physical attractiveness. Okay,
Yeah, which is girls too. Girls like
no,
to. It's the same.
like girls' top choice is not gonna be physical attractiveness. It'd be beneficial on average. Okay,
What
girls
data?
girls will prefer guys who will give them security, who like makes more money and have a status or a career. That's important to them.
Okay,
Whereas guys don't really care about status and careers as much, or if a girl makes a lot of money or not. True or no?
on average.
Do you care if
On
Patty
average,
makes a lot of money?
I do. That's why I'm talking on this other side. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess you're on the other side, but on average, guys don't care as much about if a girl has like a college degree or like a PhD or a master. They don't really care about if a girl makes 6 figures or not. On average, guys just want girls to look good.
where is this from data? From what?
Yeah. So this is on average of surveying men and women. So they will rank, what you look for in a mate from like most important to least important. And then when they do, let's say when they survey Tinder profile pictures and OkCupid profile pictures, women tend to be more choosy than men. They will be more critical of the physical attractiveness. So it's counterintuitive, but men will actually be like they will rank the woman's physical attractiveness like pretty closely to the real attractiveness. They tend to rank more like 8 and 9 or like 7 and stuff, whereas women who tend to have more 9 and 10s and like really low number like 2 and 3s. So they either rank them really high, and they rank the majority of the men really low, whereas men will rank women, you know, moderate number and not as extreme. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's because they have to be picky though.
Who woman?
Yeah, because like
Go on.
they have to be picky
Why?
because there are a lot of shit guys out there.
I mean, you can say that same about girls, no? You think there's more
Like,
crappier guys out there than crappier girls? That's what you're saying.
no, I see. I I try to
Hey,
take
I don't
no
know.
side
I
in that.
I
I know.
agree. I agree with your first
I
point that
feel like
girls are more picky and choosy. But I want to hear your reason why.
because they have to, they
I don't
they
I
have
don't
the
agree.
right to
I don't
be
agree that there's more crappier guys than girls.
they have the right to be
Why?
crappy, or they have the right to be choosy because of it's just how it is. I'm taking a biological standpoint here. Okay,
Yeah.
hopefully this can not create too much hate, but like it's like just the mating. seen, right? Like girls are the ones that are like they're like the attractive ones, and they get to choose who can be their mate. I feel like in Peacock, right? The Peacock, the male is the one that gets to choose, right? I don't know. What am I trying to say here? I feel like they have more say in what can happen, so that 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 gives them the privilege to choose to be more picky, and and I'm okay with that. For guys, we're just like casting out the net. We're like, okay, whatever sticks will stick. But then at the end of the day, it's like the girl choosing.
Right. So you are correct that the girls are more choosy, and that's the reason why, and I'll tell you why. But before I tell you why, I'll tell
Isn't
you
that
why the guy had to cast a wide net. It's because the girls are more choosy.
right?
So in order to have capture everyone, the guys need to talk to multiple girls. Anyway, so let me tell you why girls are more choosy. It's because they have a higher cost of um, meeting, right? They're gonna be the one who get pregnant. They're gonna be the one who have to carry the baby for 9 months. And once they do have the baby, they're gonna be the one who have their mate value decreases because they it's hard. Other guys don't want to marry or like date a woman with a baby from another guy.
Right.
So that's why the girls have to be more choosy because they have to spend a lot more resources after they start dating or they get pregnant.
Oh, so
So they,
it is
so
a
so they so
biological
they
thing.
need to choose a guy who's gonna support them and the baby.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So evolutionary,
Yes,
evolutionary, that's the reason why girls are more choosy.
yes, yes.
But you would think that would go away with the rise in feminism and hookup culture and um, contraceptives. No,
Yeah, yeah.
but it doesn't go away. Girls are still really choosy.
Then because the hookup culture and contraceptives isn't as the majority, then it's just temporary because we're
So you're
evolutionary. We're
thinking hookup
still
culture
we're
is gonna swing back the other way.
is what
You think that the hookup culture is gonna swing back the other way.
not swing back. It's still gonna be there, but it's just temporary, dude. Like I feel like
What do
that
you
is
mean? What do
just
you
like
mean?
a
What do you
time.
mean it's temporary? Like there's not gonna be any more hookup culture?
No, it's just it's there.
Like they go through a phase of hookup culture and then they become like
Yeah, and then
more.
they evolutionize back to what nature has made them.
No, no, no. Are you
Like,
talking
oh,
about
you
like?
gotta.
Are you talking about long term? Or are you talking about like the girl's gonna go through a whole phase in her 20s, early 20s, being hookup culture, and then in her later 20s and in her 30s, she's gonna be more choosy and pick an actual mate.
Yeah, yeah, like both sides, like girls and guys. We just go through that phase, that you just like hooking up and doing all this stuff, right? And then, but you always revert back to your evolution, and because you want to eventually, right, settle down and then have kids and then raise a family, right? So that's why I'm thinking the data, because if you like extrapolate that data throughout time, right?
When
You
you
would just
say
have like
throughout
this.
time, you saying throughout the
You
years
just
or
have a
like
blip
throughout the person's life?
throughout, yeah, throughout like the person's life. Because when you take a survey, right, you have a snapshot. You have like a snapshot of like what people data at that point, right? Right? It's just a snapshot.
Okay.
So I'm thinking if you were to make another data and extrapolate it through a timeline of like that person, so you like follow them like a cohort, I feel like it'll go back. It'll like wait. So wait, hold on.
I know what you said. I know what you're saying.
No, 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 wait, hold on. Let me. Yeah. So that's why you see the same type of data. Like you see the same type of data. Wait, no. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to prove. Sorry, I got lost in my thought. So the reason why we still see the same data that the girls are more choosy and guys aren't, even though you're suggesting that hookup culture and all this stuff should change that. No, because in the long run, everyone it's still like reverting back to evolutionary
Yeah. So the girl's gonna
senses.
eventually want to have kids and settle down.
Yeah, so I think that's why the data still supports that,
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
right?
Yeah. See, but the problem is that the guys don't want a girl who went through a whole phase, and then when she decided to settle down, now all of a sudden she want to like a really great guy. She's not worth like that's not that's not what guy looks for. So let me tell you this concept and see if it makes sense to you. For guys, their value over time, like how great their worth as a guy, will actually increases over time. Why? Because they can start getting richer when they get older. In the 30s to 40s, that's when they start have a career and they actually get rich. They have a successful career when they get older. They have financial security, and they're gonna have status as they get older. And that's what girls want in a guy, not physical look. For girls, it's actually the inverse. It's the opposite. Girls, they peak in the early 20s because that's when they're the most attractive. That's when they're the most fertile, and that's what guys essentially look for. So as they get older, they lose all that. Tell me what you think about that. Cap or no?
That that's not always true though, because nowadays, man, girls are making money through their value increases over time too. Sure, you get older, but and lose your 20s look and stuff, but you're also still gaining value throughout your career and stuff too, you know?
But my okay.
Right,
So
right?
what do you mean? So how are girls getting
More
values?
value because they're worth more. Their career, their money, they have
They're worth more, but
more assets.
the problem is that what guys want. That's what you want, but on average, that's not what the average guy looks for.
I see what you're
They
saying.
don't care if the woman has a PhD or a master. They don't care about her college education level. They don't care if she makes a lot of money or not because they make a lot of money themselves. They don't need someone to help them make money.
Boy, but
That's
that's not everyone
well,
though.
yeah, that's true. That's
That's
not
that,
like the average guy. Like not everyone's making six figures, right? If you make six figures, you're like the top 20-30% of guys, or just like people in
right?
the population. You know that? Do
Yeah.
you know what the cutoff for the top 10% annual income is?
No, I don't know.
Every doctors, $173,000. If you make more than $173,000 a year, you consider top 10% earner in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't take that much. So you make $100,000. So every girl's looking for six-figure guys. You're looking at
They're
probably like
looking
15% of
10.
guys. Okay, and then the
Uh-huh.
problem is that a lot of the time, girls. Again, I'm speaking on average and generalization because that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about when
you
you're
are.
talking population. Okay, not every girl's gonna be like this, but like on average, girls are gonna not want to work as much when they have kids.
Okay.
Okay, they're gonna either work part time or stop working at all when they start having kids. They want to stay home and spend time with their kids. On average, so that means
Okay.
the guys are the breadwinner of the family when it starts. So that's why girls look for guys, which makes sense. That's why girls look for guys who make a good chunk of money, at least six figures, so he can support the family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So back to the concept I show you. That's why guys get more values and more worth over time as they get older.
Well, you all this data and all this stuff is just it's not nonsense, but like you're just say you're you're just pointing out what like benefits, what's like the best outcome for man and a woman kind of thing. But the best outcome is not necessarily what somebody wants. So like basically I'm arguing like as long as like each person understands their morals and their values, like this type of stuff won't really matter to them because like what you're saying, you're doing population study, so you're obviously gonna get the best scenario, right? Um, when it comes to statistics, but that doesn't always necessarily equate to happiness and stuff. You know, like it's as long as you understand your what you want to look for in a
Yeah,
guy, like your own morals and
we're not talking
values.
about happiness or a successful relationship.
I
That's
know.
not what we're talking about.
No, you.
We're talking about
I
dating
argue.
on average in the dating market, right?
No,
We're
but
not. I'm not talking about like you. Like I don't think I'm not saying that those girls going to be happy when they date a six-figure guy.
oh,
That's not what I'm saying.
right.
But I'm saying that's what they look for. Are they going to be happy when they get that guy? I don't know. Could
Yeah,
be,
see,
could be not. Unlikely because those rich guys probably
that's
going to go find other girls.
that's my point there. So that
Yeah, but
I'm just
I'm
trying
not
to
talking
take.
about finding happiness. I'm talking about the general dating market in the population.
Yeah.
And you are correct because what the general population is that not guys. We already established this. Not like 15% of guys makes over six figures. That means the other 85% is making less than six figures, right? The average income for
Hmm.
the household in the U.S. is $60,000, right? And sometimes that could be breadwinner or not. So, but like let's say the guy is making so. Let me most of the guys either making $60,000 or less on that, right? The average of
Hmm.
guys is making $60,000 or less, and yet they have families and kids. Okay, because it's a household, so that means they have families and kids and a wife at least. So that means that there's women out there dating guys who's making less than six figures, right? So
Hmm.
the point I brought up to you is that Kevin Samuel is telling these women that you should go for the guy that's making less than six figures and doesn't have a six pack and not 6 feet tall. The problem is that these women I keep trying to be like, oh yeah, I know the perfect guy when I see him, and the perfect guy is the guy making six figure who's 6 feet tall with chisel body and stuff. When that's not the reality. You're not gonna get those guys. That's why you need to be single forever. That's the guy you keep looking for. And
Same
then,
thing with the guys then too.
hmm? Yeah, and then
Same thing with the guys then too.
there's
Like
guys that call up and be like, yeah, I want to get like, Nicki Minaj body, and he's like super
yeah,
hot.
but they
Like
don't make
I want to
yeah.
date these Instagram models, and then he tells them, he's like, look at you, man. Like, what do you have? You barely making six figures. You're not in shape. You're not what the ideal type that those girls want. So you need to work on yourself and get better.
Yeah.
If that's the type of girls you're looking for,
Yeah.
you need to
So he
hustle
just tells
and work more jobs, work double jobs you have to make more money. But the problem is that those guys understand this stuff, but the women usually get really mad.
but wouldn't you get mad too? Someone said that to you?
No, I mean if that's the truth and I can't see it, I'll be like, hey, you know what? He's right. I need to make more money to attract these women. Then I'm gonna go make more money
No, if you were a
and get in
woman,
shape. No, well,
if you were
why would I be mad? Because he's just telling me what I need to know. You can
no,
take
if
his
you were a woman,
you can take his advice or not. You don't want to call in and ask for advice, and he give you the advice. That's what he say all the time. Like these people calling in, asking for my advice. I give them the advice, and they don't like it, so they get mad.
You wouldn't get mad if you were a woman and someone said that to you.
If that's the truth, and I need to work on myself, then that's the, like you might be butthurt about it, but just take it and run.
If someone said that you were too ugly, you wouldn't be
You
mad at
don't you
that.
don't want to hear the truth. Like you walk around and you think if I walk
But
around
yeah,
and I thought I looked like Brad Pitt or I
but
thought I
that but
looked like
that's
Quentin
not the
Bin.
question though. But
It,
that's not
but
the
no, but
question
but
that I'm
if
asking you.
you don't think if you think that you're 10 out of 10 and someone and you like your perception of yourself is distorted. If someone give you a reality check, you should be grateful. What's your
No,
question?
I
Is that
get
not your
that, but
question?
no, my question is like, but you truly believe that this image of yours is like, Brad Pitt or whatever, and someone went up to you and said, "No, you're not." Like, you wouldn't be upset a little bit. You'd be like, "Oh, wow, thank you for telling me that."
No, like I said, I would be upset,
You would, right?
but I would accept that and like I would accept that reality and be like, thanks for the reality check. And maybe I need to
Right,
get more opinions. Maybe I don't look like Brad Pitt.
but you would still
I wouldn't
be
get mad and
upset.
call him like a racist and a misogynist who hates black women. Like people need to learn how to take constructive criticism.
Right. But my question was like, you would get upset. You would still get upset though, right? Because then your image has been, you know, struck down. Like your image of yourself.
Okay.
Obviously, you got to be upset a little bit, right? Unless you're
Yeah,
emotionalist.
but I'm not gonna be yelling on. I'm not gonna be yelling on air and like blame that person
Okay,
for
man.
calling it out.
I don't know, man.
Like if your attendant comes to you and be like, "Hey, you've been sucking at your job lately," and you thought you've been doing great, what you gonna do? Yell at your attendant? Be like, I'm only talking about I've been doing great. I don't know why you told me
No,
that
you'd
I
be
suck.
upset. You would be upset,
Yeah,
wouldn't
but
you?
I'm gonna be like, thanks for your great words, and I appreciate it. I'm not gonna be like, no, I don't believe you. I'm great. You will acknowledge your flaw. The problem is that these callers don't. You're missing the fact that these callers don't accept what he say, and in turn against him and call him racist and misogynist. There's a difference between being
Right.
upset and being upset and getting angry and not accepting what the truth is. Like just being in
I
denial.
think, but what if it's because of what they were told is different?
Told by
You
who?
have to
Like
put
other
yourself.
people or what?
You yeah. You have to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, and they're definitely being told the difference. That's why they believe that stuff. They're being brainwashed. I told you by fourth wave feminism and the modern culture. I'm not saying they're not. Like
Yeah.
their perception of themselves and of the reality is totally different.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
if they, exactly,
they don't know what guy wants, and when they told the truth
that's
of
my
what guy actually
point.
wants, they can't stand it.
That's my point. Then.
Yeah, I agree with that point.
So that's they have the right to be angry and act like that because what they're told as a girl is a lot more upsetting than what you were told as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like even though it's like the truth, you can say, "Oh, that's the truth," but the truth is different.
Yeah,
Truth is
okay,
different.
no, I see what you're saying
That's
now.
that's you know what I mean?
It might be a bigger blow to their reality.
Exactly. That's what like.
So
So
maybe
they
that's why they don't take it as well, and maybe that's why they don't.
exactly
Sure, yeah,
the reaction is
but
different.
that's why we needed people like Kevin Samuels to kind of bring them back in. And now he's dead.
But
You know
maybe
when he
not.
died,
Maybe
there's like a bunch of Twitter that like went on and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm so glad he died," and like they would say all this like terrible stuff about his death. Disgusting.
yeah. Wait. So what are they brainwashed?
Why are they brainwashed? What are you asking me?
Yes. Why are they brainwashed?
Look, I'll tell you the biggest problem that that is in the dating market for women right now. Okay, I told you about this statistic before, right? So there's a Harvard study where they asked other Harvard students and stuff, and they found that this for every increase in one standard, is it 14 IQ points? So for every increase in 14 IQ point for guys, there was a 35% chance increase in um, having a mate. But then for the same 14-point increase in IQ for women, there was a decrease, 35% chance in having a mate.
Mm.
You got that?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, another study shows that women tends to kind of when asked without like when they anonymous and they ask like what kind of degree they're getting and what kind of education you're getting. Like women will be more honest about attaining their, let's say, higher education degrees, like postdoc or like postbac degrees. But when it's not anonymous, when it's like they known, they will tend to lie and not say that they're attending a higher education degree. Okay,
Oh.
so that's 2 points. So the reason why they do that, they don't ask them the reason why, but people think it's because um, women with a higher degree tend to not be as desirable with men. Okay, so third point. Uh, so women are actually, there's more women in college in higher education now than men.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's more girls in colleges population than men are.
Mhm.
So women are getting higher education levels than before, and the problem is that women tend to date men at the same education level or higher only.
Okay.
Okay. On average, women likes to date men at the same education level or higher. Men,
Hmm.
they don't care. They can date higher or lower. Okay.
Right. Why?
So then, if you think about it, the higher the education a woman get, the lower her dating pool is.
Mm.
Okay. And lastly, women are spending more time educations, attaining their degrees. They're taking longer to get a careers. They're taking longer to settle down. So by the time they finish their degrees, by the time they finish, kind of get settled in with their careers, and they start looking for mates, they have a shorter window time in the dating market because now they gotta
Hmm.
think about wanting to have kids and stuff too.
Mm.
So women also disadvantaged in that fact because they have a biological clock in which they kind of need to settle down and have kids. Otherwise, it's gonna be a problem. Men don't have
Mm.
that. So
Oh.
modern feminism has kind of, I mean, it's been a great advancement for women, but it's also brought a setback in the dating market for women, and that's why there's an increase in women being single and more than, I think there's a study that's going to show that in, I think, 2026 or something, more than 50% of women at the age of 30 is going to be not it's have not had any kids or older than 35 or something. So that's like half the woman population at that age who's not going to have kids, which is unprecedented back then.
Mm.
Yeah. So the point is that, yeah, modern feminism is that like women are getting more education and stuff, and I think
Yeah.
the problem is that
That's a good thing. Isn't that a good thing?
I mean, yeah, it's good that they're getting education career, but now they're doing that at the sacrifice of finding a good husband and having a family. So that's something that girls, I feel like, need to be warned about, that they should know before they invest their time into obtaining higher education. This is something that girls don't know,
Yeah.
but like if you
It's the same. Yeah,
all you do is push them like, hey, you go to college, you need to get a good education, you need to get a
I
good career,
agree.
which I agree, because you don't want to be dependent on a man. Um, it's
Yeah,
all good, but then the side effects is that now you need to sacrifice your family and career, life, and the dating life.
that's that's
So the solution
with
for
guys,
that,
man.
for me, the solution for that is that now maybe other men, both men and women, need to change um their perspective and like their views on dating. So maybe now women need to, because women tend to be hypergamous. You know what I mean? So I mean they tend to date up. So either when we talk about like up in education, so they like date anyone lower in education than them, or like in status or money. So someone they have a date a guy who's making more money than them. So on average, women tend to be hypergamous, where men are not. So maybe now the societal change can be like, you know what? Maybe we don't need to date a guy who's have a higher degree than us, who's smarter than us, or who makes more money than us. And I think that is attitude is shifting, hopefully, in the younger generation, where a woman can be like, I don't need to date a guy who's making more money than me. Same thing with guys, now, because maybe before guys were like, oh, I gotta be making more money than a woman. I can't date any woman who makes more money than me. Now the guys can be like, I think it's okay for a woman to make more money than me, for my wife or my girlfriend to make more money than me, and then that's gonna help. So yeah, I think the new dating rules and the dating games gotta change a little bit to kind of deal with this
Mm.
new change.
Yeah, sure. This whenever you have a change in something drastic like that, it's gonna affect other things.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that
I
you have a
agree.
generation of women who's gonna be single and alone.
No, not if there's a shift
It's gonna be too
in
late for
men
them. It's gonna be too late for them. They're gonna be old.
advancement in medicine though. Intra
IVF.
IVF.
Like if you think about like all of our female doctors, female medicine, earliest that they get out, right, of med school, if they go straight, it's gonna be what, 26,
Yeah.
25, 25, 26. And you're definitely not dating during that time because you're so focused on school. You know how busy med
Mhm.
students are. And even if you are trying to date, it's going to be hard to have a stable, long term relationship. So now, after you finish med school, you have 3 years residency. How likely are you going to be dating when you're in residency? Like, sure, there's people who get married and stuff in residency, and you meet your potential mate, but your main focus is going to be a job. I don't know, man. It's bad. I feel like the dating market is really bad now. I'm so glad it's not, you know, like I locked down my wife when she was young, and I don't have to go through this anymore.
Same. Well, I mean, like you said, they changed, so it's okay,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I'm hoping it will change. I don't
That's
know. I think
that's why the studies are out
I
there,
think it
right?
need to change. Like people need to. But the problem is that not everybody knows about the stuff that we're talking about, right?
So that's why you're educating people, like me, and
Yeah,
then I could tell other
that you can
people.
tell
I could
your
tell
friends who are guys and girls are.
who are single, yeah,
Yeah,
and be like, hey, you gotta change the way you think. Naturally, biologically, you guys aren't thinking correct.
yeah, it's be tough.
This is called evolution, where we are straying away from our evolutionary, you know, biological nature stuff. You know, this is awesome. We have to change because we're going through evolution. She doesn't like the cut on her. Dang man. what? But why do I feel like if I was a girl, I'll be offended at this stuff? I just have a. Why do I have a sense?
You should show this segment to Patty. She would just say,
I just tell her
"Yeah,
at dinner right now.
no." It's a lot of claims that I'm making that I know a lot of people are not gonna like hearing. So
Yeah,
yeah, Ashley and Cody get mad at me all the time when I say this stuff. You
that's
should ask. You should
interesting.
ask them about it next time you see them.
Well, it's because like all this dating culture stuff, it just seems so like why does it seem so against women? And, you know, it has a bad connotation. It's like oh, feminism, the woman movement is changing the course of dating.
I see what you're saying.
That could be that could be like the title of our podcast today or something. And
Feminism
like
changing
that
the course
puts
of dating.
yeah, that like puts it that's like blaming them for like this epidemic or whatever, you know? It's a bad connotation to it.
Yeah, I think.
When feminism, woman movement, all that stuff, like should be something positive. Like it's good that we're having more women doctors, and you know, like it's good that we're trying to bridge that wage gap and trying to like get rid of like sexism and then work, but it's you know like all of that stuff should be positive. I think because of this kind of gives it a negative connotation. It gets yeah, it gets a little.
Yeah, well, it's because the problem is that it's going too far. I feel like.
See, that's the argument. It's going too far.
Yeah. What started as a well intention, which is why there's different waves of feminism, right? Like first wave feminism, second wave feminism, third wave feminism. No,
Right. Yeah.
have you heard of that?
Okay, but okay.
We
It doesn't
currently
matter. No, no, no. Hold on. It doesn't matter. Okay, let me stop you there because it's taking too long. But it doesn't matter the different ways. I think we can also flip it the other way. There's like for men, right? Like I don't know the opposite. Isn't there one for men too?
what a men's
Like
movement?
alpha male. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there's a men's movement.
There's no, there isn't. Isn't there?
I mean, I'm sure there's like with like 100 people on the subreddit somewhere.
The men.
Do you see it in the mainstream media?
No, because like
Like, are you
we,
talking about like alpha male, sigma male stuff?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. See
that's not the same as feminism.
that's like no, that's not the same.
No, I mean that's just like a little cult, subcult on like YouTube and Reddit and stuff. Same thing with like incels and you know all this other stuff. It's just like a small minority of people.
Okay.
It's not getting. You don't
So
hear alpha male and sigma male getting taught in college classes, do you?
no, but see, that's slowly becoming a thing though
No, it's always been
in
there.
cult.
There's always been like the alpha male stuff has always been around. Now it's changed to sigma males. It's just using different
Really,
terms. Yeah, but it's not a movement.
it's not a movement. Oh,
Like I consider myself a feminist in that I believe that all like women should get the same equal opportunity as men.
right.
But I don't think
But
they
you
should get
said
well. Like the modern day feminists think that women should get retribution for all the stuff that they've lost against men.
they take it too far.
Like, oh yeah, women should get
To
paid more than men.
I see.
It's like retribution stuff, and I'm like, I don't agree with that because now you're just discriminating against men. There should never be any discrimination. It should always be equal opportunities for all. Because now they're pushing for, this is the same thing I talked to you about last week, like 2 weeks ago. Now they're pushing for
Yeah.
equal outcomes, where if you don't have 50% CEOs of men and women, that means there's some kind of inequality there. So so the modern day feminism will try to push, you know what, we need to have 50% CEOs across the board.
Mm.
And I don't think that's true. I don't think you should do that. You don't want equal outcomes, because outcomes could be determined from anything. We talked about this before, where it's
Yeah.
free will. That's gonna affect the outcome.
It all goes down
Where they
to
say like, oh,
the,
you know what, we have too many OBGYN doctors who's are males. We need more females in OBGYN. So all that stuff. That's why I don't like about the modern day feminism. But I'm still a
that's
feminist.
about. He's like, I just want to put that out there. I'm still feminist.
Equal opportunities for all.
Yes. Interesting. I feel like there needs to be some sort of statistics though to back it up, because it's so easy to just think it like, oh, 50% male, 50% woman. That seems equal to me, right?
Yeah, but
At first hand.
let's say,
But
but
then there's,
like, this is the problem. Is like, why do we need to have that though? Like, is that gonna make things better? There's no data that shows that like that's gonna be better.
yeah, that's what I mean. That, but it's just a number. It's just like, oh, it's just,
It sounds good. Yeah, I mean,
like
like, oh yeah,
math.
now
Yeah,
everyone's gonna be equal now. But it's like,
yeah,
is it gonna be better though? Like, how you know it's gonna be better?
right. I don't know. This is this is good. I mean, I haven't really like looked deep into this. So you telling me all this, I'm like, wow,
I'm
this
just
actually
brainwashing you,
exists
bro.
out there. Uh,
Uh,
welcome to the
I'm
Brainwash
turning into
podcast.
a Sigma male. I actually have no idea what it is. It's something. It's like a new term I ran into recently. I was like, I don't. Is this an alpha male? There's like a sigma male now. I don't really know
Yeah, I don't know.
what it
Me either.
is, but it's all
But I
stupid.
know it's bad.
You guys ever see anyone who could call themselves alpha male or sigma male? Just run away. Don't date that person.
Yeah.
All right,
All
man.
right, man. We will wrap this up.
Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been an episode with your boy Ten and On and Yuki.
Mm-hmm.
Tune in next week for another episode. Dude, we didn't like talk about any of the stuff like. I mean, we talked about some, but they had here. Maybe
Really?
yeah.
Oh, save it for next
I
week.
had like all the PAMD thing. We had like anti-capitalist teens are sharing shoplifting tips
Oh,
on
it is.
TikTok. We have
You're spoiling
COVID-19
things.
U.S. tracker overestimated deaths among children.
Damn,
Pfizer's
dude.
COVID vaccine protection against Omicron phase just weeks after second and third doses. Wait, this
So
is gonna be
much.
teaser for next week.
Teasers next week.
Yeah.
There's also that suicide note.
Let's do a sign out.
Have you seen that? There's a medical student. They wrote, they there's a suicide note, and then it's like a whole thread about it on Reddit. It's actually pretty good read.
Wait, this med student wrote a suicide note and posted on Reddit, and there was a whole thread about it,
Yeah.
and that the student died.
Well, it's not. No, it was like back in 2000. Like, no, it was a long time ago. It's just, it wasn't on like a Reddit post, but it was like she wrote down a note about her struggles and stuff.
And it was posted on Reddit.
Yeah, they posted on Reddit recently just to like spread awareness out there.
Yeah, we
The
can go to
note
next
was
week.
pretty, yeah.
Write your
So,
stuff down, man. Okay.
I will.
Thanks
All
for
right.
listening, everybody. Until next time.
See you next time.